everyone, welcome back, and if you're new here, thanks for joining me. I'm Annette from Ask Me Decor, and I have a question for you today. Have you ever seen something that you thought was absolutely perfect for your house, but very expensive? That's what was happening to me. I was noticing these black aged pottery vases. They're everywhere. They're on Pinterest, they're on YouTube, Studio McKee, Pottery Barn, you name it. They're all selling these black aged looking pottery vases. They're awesome. And I thought this would be great for my house because I have black accents. I thought it looked great for fall and it would just be perfect. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a vase, I decided on a different plan. So I went to my local thrift store and I found a vase that I thought was the perfect size and shape. And that's a tip for you. If you're gonna do something to a vase like this, look at the shapes, look at the size. Don't look at color, don't look at what it's made of. Look at the shape and the size to pick the perfect vase for your project. So once I had my vase, it was time to get working on it. So let me take you through the process of how I transformed this glass $2.99 vase into a work of art. Here's the vase I picked. Perfect shape and size for this project. Now, what I'm going to use is all-purpose joint compound. This is left over from a bathroom remodel project. Using gloves, I scooped some out and I started rubbing it on the vase. Now, the first scoop I grabbed was rather dry, so I came up with a new plan. I decided to get a small container and put some water in it, and then I scooped out some of the joint compound and added it to that little container with water. After stirring it up, it made a better consistency, maybe something closer to that of whipped cream, and that was easier to rub all over the vase. So you can see me here rubbing it on the entire vase, filling in the low spots and trying to get an even layer of it all around the vase. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this took quite a bit. I was worried that it wasn't gonna stick. I kept trying to thicken up my mixture. Keep in mind, this is the very first time I've ever done this, and I was kind of learning as I went along. But I just kept working at it little by little. My advice to you would just be patient and keep applying it until you get that entire vase coated in a pretty even layer. Okay, the joint compound layer is pretty even all over the vase. I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks. So the next step is you need to let this dry overnight. Now, I was dying to keep trying to touch it to see if it was dry yet, but trust me, don't touch it. Just let it dry. Leave it go, walk away, and let it dry. Okay, finally, it's the next day. It's pretty dry, but you can see cracks in between the grooves. And I decided to paint in a little bit more of the really wet compound that I made the day before. I actually saved that, and with a little painter's brush, I just painted it into all those grooves, covered all those cracks, and hoped for the best. This was a little tedious, but I took my time, made sure I covered all the cracks and all the open kind of spaces that there was no joint compound. Look at this close-up. You can see that I filled everything in pretty good. And again, I had to just walk away, let it dry overnight. Now it's time to try to make it look like black pottery. So the first thing I did was spray paint it with flat black paint. I used the cheapest paint I could find. That was at Lowe's, and it was about $2.99 for a can of it. Just make sure whatever you're painting with is flat black. After a good coating with black paint, I decided to use some baking soda. I brushed that on with a painter's brush again to try to give it a little bit more texture. And I think that worked out pretty well. Now, in order to make that baking soda stick, I'm going to put a little bit more spray paint on there and then just rub the baking soda right into it. It worked out pretty good. Last but not least, I need to rub some dirt on it. So I just went and got 2 handfuls of dirt from my garden and started rubbing it in. Now what the dirt is going to do is give it even more texture and more of that really old pottery look. That this piece of pottery has been, in an old barn or an old attic for 100 years. That's what you want it to look like. So I just kept rubbing that dirt in and getting my hands absolutely filthy. This step is not for the faint of heart. You've got to get your hands dirty. After rubbing the dirt and letting it sit for a day, I decided that I wanted it to look a little bit more black. It just was more of the brown color from the dirt. So all I did was take a Q-tip, dip it in some flat black artist paint and rub that on the dirt a little bit, and I think that worked. It made it have more of a black look than a brown look, and that dirt is just giving us this wonderful texture. And here was my favorite part. Staging this vase with some fall foliage, a couple of pumpkins, a beautiful candle that smelled great. I wish you could smell it. That was my favorite part. I thought this came out so perfect, and I can't wait to decorate the entire kitchen all around it. You're definitely gonna have to tune in next week, because that's when we'll be doing the whole kitchen, and it's gonna coordinate with this vase on this island. That's going to do it for my amazing transformation from a $2.99 vase from the thrift store into this amazing, beautiful work of art that I am using for my fall decor, and maybe there'll be other uses for it through the year. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you got a lot of inspiration and you're going to go out and get a vase and try this project. It's not that hard. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, just ask me, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.